Hey everyone, it's your man, Ernest Heaviside here. Wow, I checked the VOD last time. It was literally a slideshow, and it cut off at one point too. Don't worry, this time I've upgraded my whole operating system. You have no idea how much effort that took. It took so long, upgraded everything, installed all new programs. I'm actually on the latest version of OBS now, not whatever backward version I was using before. And I'm actually on an operating system that other people use rather than my own personal hobby horse that I was using before. So I hope it animates me this time. We'll see the quality in the VOD. It took so much time, I didn't actually have time to prepare properly for today, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. Anyway, we can get into the math. I wanted to do some simple math today. Nothing too complex or anything. Just to sort of test the concept of doing a math stream. And it's nice, I actually have my chat embedded this time. Alright. So this, you might recognize this. This is GIMP. It's an image program for Linux users. So today, it's nothing too complex. Today we're just going to go over the Pythagorean theorem. Now, everyone knows the Pythagorean theorem, of course, but in my tutoring experience, you'd be surprised how few people actually know the proof for the Pythagorean theorem. Understand why a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's what we're going to go through today. Yeah, it's lagging. So I'm upgrading my system over time, trying to get all the bugs out, trying to get all the kinks out. The next upgrade I'm going to make is my thermal solution for my computer. I noticed a significant amount of lag with regard to the thermals. So I'm going to be upgrading that maybe next time or another 2 streams or so. So let's go through it. Why does a squared plus b squared equal c squared? So if we were to draw a triangle, let's see. This is actually the first time I've used this upgraded version of GIMP. Let's see. Let's get a new layer here. Alright. So if we draw a right triangle, and this side is A, this side is B, this side is C. So how do you prove that a squared plus b squared equals c squared? This is something that a lot of people actually don't know. I mean, they can look up the proof, but it's more useful, rather than to look up the proof and memorize the proof, in my experience, it's more useful to think about how you would solve it yourself. How would you solve this? How would you approach this solution? And once you get sort of a general idea of how to solve problems become way easier to solve. And that's my experience. So first of all, this is a very simple level of math. So we don't have much proven yet. So we don't have much to work with, in other words, as far as our the equations that we have at our disposal. So one of the things that we have at this point is multiplication. So multiplication is actually defined in terms of an area. So if let's go to this layer here. If I were to make a square here, area is actually defined, or I should say multiplication is defined as the area of a square. So like a times b. Oh man, I really hope it's not making me a PowerPoint again. We're gonna see in the VOD how it goes. So the area of the square is a times b, and this is actually by definition. So in other words, multiplication is defined in terms of the area. Oh man, let's go down to this area. Oh shoot. It's not giving me my color. Oh, I must be on like black and white mode. Yep, RGB. That's odd. Oh, there we go. See, I just solved the problem as we spoke. And so that's the problem solving that everyone can learn. Okay, so we need to somehow get our triangle in terms of squares, or assemble our triangle into squares. That's sort of the idea. But in a more intuitive sense, without even knowing this formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, in a more intuitive sense, you can sort of reason how we could get c in terms of a and b without even like thinking about it that much. Well, first of all, you know that there is a dependence on a and b. Because if you imagine stretching out a, so this is actually a right angle, of course, down here. This is a right angle. And so because this is a right angle, we can get a unique solution for c in terms of a and b. So if you imagine stretching a, extending a, making a longer, you can see that c changes, the length of c changes. And similarly, if you imagine stretching out b, making it longer or shorter, you can see that c changes. So c has a dependence on a and b, and this angle here, I suppose, but this angle is fixed for our purposes right now. So right now we're just getting a dependence on a and b for a right triangle. Furthermore, you can see that this triangle has some symmetry, right? So you could easily flop these sides and put b over here and a over here, and it would be pretty much the same thing. So in that sense, you know that whatever formula you get out is going to be symmetrical for a and b. In other words, you can trade a and b and it will look exactly the same, or it will calculate to the same thing. All right. So that's just a little bit of intuition that without even starting, you can intuit some things about what our solution is going to look like. And this is a useful skill to have when you're solving more mysterious problems in the future. So this problem is very simple, but we can use this as sort of a instructional for learning how we could approach more complex problems in the future. All right, so now we know that that multiplication is actually defined in terms of an area. So an area is a multiplication. So it's a geometric quantity, actually. And so this triangle involves geometry. It's a geometric quantity. So a useful thing that we can do is we can get this triangle in terms of squares. So how might we do that? Well, one way we could do that is, by definition, yeah, I'm definitely lagging right now, so I really hope it's animating me. This stream is actually sort of a test for that, a test to see whether it animates me, what improvements I can make in the future. I don't want to make any hardware upgrades yet. I want to try to make it work on this hardware. So this is a new version of Linux for me. Oh, so there's my rotate tool right there. Interesting. So where's my like mirror tool? Well, this is troublesome. I unfortunately did not have time to practice with this program before I leapt into the stream. I was upgrading my OS. And man, this one's way easier to use. This OS is way easier to use than what I had before. It was like what I had before was like my own personal hobby horse, and it was it was very outdated and not well supported. And this is the one that just everyone uses, so this one is very well supported. So it's going to be in here. This is the unified transform tool. Oh, they have flip. I see it. Flip. It's in here. So it's one of these. Selection, path. Oh man. What if I'm like mousing over it and just not seeing it? That would be so embarrassing. Oh jeez. Well, I would love to edit this part out of the VOD for sure. The part where I'm slowly figuring out the UI elements. Oh, you can right click it. Ah, there you go. Okay, yeah, so I just solved my problem. So there we go. Now we can flip it. And now you can match these triangles together. And actually, because of the nature of a triangle, these opposite interior angles, so this angle over here, I suppose I can mark it on this angle over here, and this angle over here, are going to add up to 90 degrees. And you could prove that too. And the way you'd prove that is being like, okay, well, I'm marching across this line, and then when I turn this corner, on the outside, I go, whoop, I go around, and I go a number of degrees. And then I turn this corner again, I turn this corner over here, and I turn this final corner. And the amount that I turned has to be 360 degrees, right? And so using that logic, you can prove that these internal angles here add up to 90 degrees. And so that's a given with a triangle. So because of that, when we lay one triangle on top of each other, these opposite angles here always add up to 90 degrees. So we can create a square out of any a triangle. So this is one way to build a square out of triangles. But unfortunately, this doesn't really tell us much, right? Because we just have the same relationship that we had before between A, B, and C. There's no way to get C out of this. Because I suppose, yeah, there's no way to get the length of C out of a multiplication here. So the trick is, and this would take you a while to like figure out by manipulating triangles around, but the trick is that we can take advantage of the geometry of a triangle in another interesting way. So let's flip this. I do believe that I need to rotate it now. Oh yeah, and I can just write. This is so convenient. Wow. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, I suppose. That'll do. Yeah, my last stream I was much more put together. I had like a script and everything. This stream I'm flying off the cuff because I did not have time to prepare. Yeah, even with this program, last stream we played Vampire Survivors. This stream I'm just messing around in GIMP, and even GIMP is giving me issues. So yeah, my operating, well, I guess I can't blame it on the operating system anymore because I upgraded. So I suppose at this point it's either hardware limitations or it's overheating. So I'm going to try to address the overheating. I'm going to order something for that. Alright, so let's duplicate this layer. and then we're going to flip it another 90 degrees, rotate, and so you can see that we're actually building a square out of the C dimension, out of the length of C. We're going to build a square out of that. Rotate 90 degrees very slowly, because my computer is chugging through this very slowly. Oh man, this is frustrating. And now, as you can see, we've built a square out of this internal length of C. So let's just take this, I think. This. Let's go C, C, C. Oh. There we go. And I believe I labeled this one A down here. This is A. So that would make this one A. This one A. This one A. And I suppose I should get this out of here. Get rid of that. If worst comes to worst, I could just do it without the model, honestly. Okay. Actually, this one is B up here. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we have built a square shape out of triangles. And so now we're sort of exploiting the definition of multiplication, and the key here is that we actually have two squares. So we have a square on the inside, right? But we also have a square bordering around the outside. So now we have our triangle in terms of squares, so to speak. And so now, well, I can say this total area. What is the total area? Well, it's going to be the length of this side times the length of this side. So A plus B times A plus B, of course. Total area. A plus B squared. Oh geez. Now, what is the area of this internal shape? Well, it's C times C, so C squared. And what is the area of all of the triangles? Well, as we said before, you can build a square out of two triangles. So a triangle is always going to be half the area of that square. So it's going to be 1/2 A times B for each individual triangle. But of course, there's 4 triangles, so it's going to be 2AB. 2AB. It's going to be the area of all of these triangles. So if I had more FPS, I could fill this in. Here we go. Oh, let's get my color. This area plus this area plus this area plus this area. Yeah. It's 2A plus B. And the center, so maybe we can make this the same color. Okay, and then the center will of course be, let's make it purple or pink, whatever you fancy. Oh, I suppose I can't actually. I have to combine these layers. Hold on. There we go. And that is c squared. What I'd really like, actually, is a way to make math like exciting. Is a way to make it like engaging. And I suppose there's many different attempts you could do to accomplish that. Like you could relate personal stories. You could get into the history of it. I've tried a lot of different methods in my tutoring experience. Unfortunately, a lot of times the type of person that needs tutoring is not the type of person who engages very well. So it's a little bit frustrating, I suppose. In my case, I taught myself reading the textbook. I didn't learn very much in class. I just sat by myself reading the textbook mostly. And figuring it out, solving problems. Problem solving is a skill, and once you learn it, you can apply it to absolutely anything, including this. And so the total area is a plus b squared, but it's also going to be 2ab, the area of the triangles, plus c squared, the area of the center. So now we have a relation. A plus b squared equals c squared plus 2ab. I'm running off the page here. Let's change the font. Oh dear, this is so frustrating. I'm working at a very diminished frame rate right now. I wonder if I'm even streaming, actually. I really hope I can get this into a workable situation within the next few days. Okay, and this does not need to be blue. So one way I've seen people try to engage people is just to talk like really fast, really emphatically, really energetically. I actually prefer a little bit more of a slow talking. Alright, so now we know that the area of the total, we can get it two ways. We can go a plus b squared, or we can get it by adding up the individual elements within. So c squared plus 2ab, so the area of these blue triangles. And if you solve for this, well, on the left, you distribute this out, and you get a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. And on the right side, of course, you have c squared. Oh, man, what is going on? Oh. Oh, yeah. It's a learning experience. It's a learning experience for sure. Alright, let me swap my colors. A squared plus b squared plus 2ab equals c squared plus 2ab. Oh, jeez. So, this is going to sound a little odd, but I have very big hands. I have very big hands, and this is a very small laptop. So, one issue that I've been having is my very big hands keep hitting the trackpad and like relocating my cursor, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm having issues like this. Yeah. Despite having big hands, I do have piano fingers, I suppose you could say. So I can do like delicate things, but more often than not, I'm like, I'm like fudge finger stuff, you know. So, so I did. So I'm moving the wrong elements here. But as you can see, this is our formula: a squared plus b squared plus 2ab equals c squared plus 2b. The 2b counts on both sides. Now we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that is how you prove it. And believe it or not, a lot of people actually don't know this proof. And I've encountered that a lot in my tutoring, people who don't actually know how you're supposed to prove that. They just memorize it. And I have an issue with memorization. I do not like memorization. I'm a very bad memory myself, so maybe that's a personal bias. But I prefer if you can, the process of coming to a logical deduction, the process of doing something logically. I think that's a skill that you can learn, and if you learn it, then you can discover new things. You can push the boundaries a little bit, push the boundaries of math, push the boundaries of science, and the only way you're ever going to do that is by discovering this skill. And so this is not very interesting. This is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This was discovered in ancient Greece. This is a long time coming. Everybody learns this in elementary school almost. Or, I don't know, we learn it like junior high or something. But we can use this simple example to learn how to solve a problem, in other words. So this is like a case study. And so what I found is that in order to be really good at something, you need a very good foundation. You need a good base of support. And by going through more simple proofs, you can build yourself a very strong foundation. So you can sort of build up upon that. So this is what I did with calculus. When I was learning calculus, I built myself a very strong foundation. And I did that by going through the basic proofs over and over and over again until I really understood them, like deeply understood them. And then I was able to launch that into more complicated realms of math, like differential equations, Fourier analysis, I'm blanking on it. What was it called? The realm of analysis where you use like imaginary numbers a lot. It's a very powerful tool that you can learn. It's like one level above differential equations. Anyway, it'll come to me in a minute. So the only way you can get there is by a strong foundation. There are some people who are just gifted. Like I met a couple of people. They were just gifted ever since they were child. They just do naturally, and they don't even have to work that hard at it. But for most people, they do, and you can get really good if you do that. So I would like to show more complicated math. I'd actually like to show sort of the origin of my name, the Heaviside function, But today we're dealing with a low FPS. We're dealing with technology issues. I really want to examine the VOD, so just to make sure it's not like a slideshow like it was the other day. So I'm also recording on OBS, so if the upload to Twitch isn't that good, at least I'll have the good recording, so I can upload that. Anyway, let's move out of this. Let's move out of this. Yep. Oh no. Oh, I just realized it wasn't even recording the whole. Hold on. Oh boy. Humble beginnings, huh? Humble beginnings. Well, the only way you go is to improve, so take these humble beginnings and improve upon them to something better. Yeah, so I wasn't even showing the whole frame. So as you can see here, I typed over here a plus b squared equals c squared plus 2ab. I kind of ran off there. Alright, let's go back to the room. Yeah, so today it was a big scramble to get the OS updated, to get everything ready. Hope today won't be as much of a scramble. Tomorrow won't be as much of a scramble, and prepare more for the stream. I'm also trying to update mine. I saw a couple other people, like a couple other YouTubers, that had like nice assets. Like, their Twitter page was all nice. They had like fan art. They had like the whole page up with like, links and the description. So I need to get all that together too. The thing is to just work out every single day and improve every single day. So as part of this channel is showcasing improvement, showcasing the improvement, like how hard work we put over time. How you just got to keep working at something and come to the place. I decided to like meet people, I guess. So I just want to see what the whole thing's about. So meet people, see what's on. So I think I'll be checking it. Maybe I'll use the device. I could use it. Yeah. There's stuff I could do. I could show like more progression, but that might not be so interesting, I do have a lot of like advice for people who are working out, to give some advice, educational and a lot of advice I guess you can. So I don't know if I can go the full hour today. I'm probably just gonna cut it off here. I'll see how it looks and see if I can make any improvements, any updates. See if I need a downscale model or what. So thanks for watching. If you did, what's catchphrase gonna be? What's my catchphrase gonna be? I'll see you on the heavy side. I'll catch you on the heavy side. I don't know how other heavy side do that. All right. See you on the heavy side.